Welcome back to Cambridge. It's Ivy League Hoops on ESPN, and we're here in Cambridge, Mass, where Harvard leads by 9 on the visiting Brown Bears. Our player to watch for Brown was number 4, Justine Gaziano. Now, she's not just one of the most prolific scorers in Brown and Ivy League history. She's also a local girl from about a half hour away in Natick, Massachusetts. That means that she was able to get a big fan base to travel to Harvard today to watch her. She's got about 20 people in the stands cheering her on, including her parents, Chris and Jack. I was able to catch up with them before the game to ask them how it's been to watch their daughter develop over her 4 years at Brown, where she's been so dynamic. I said, what were the highlights for you guys watching as parents? They said, well, of course, the milestones, when she passed 1,000 points for her career and then 1,500 points for her career. Those were big moments of pride for them, but they admitted that those moments probably meant way more to them as parents than they meant to Justine herself as a player, because those are individual accolades, and Justine is all about the team. Welcome back to Ivy League basketball on ESPN. If you're a basketball fan, you've heard it a million times. It's a game of runs. That was true again last night for Brown, where they put together 3 really impressive runs in order to get the win over Dartmouth at Dartmouth. First was a 17-3 run in the first quarter, then they went on a 15-2 run in the second quarter, and then a 15-4 run in the third quarter. That helped them secure the victory over the Big Green. Welcome back to Ivy League Hoops from Cambridge. Harvard leads the Yale Bulldogs by just 1 point here in the third quarter. Just because these two coaching staffs are throwing strategic haymakers at each other doesn't mean there's not friendly faces on both sides. The most friendly of those faces is Emma Golan, the second-year assistant coach for the Yale Bulldogs. Emma was a 2013 graduate and a student athlete for Harvard women's basketball. She was a captain for Coach Kathy Delaney-Smith in 2013. In 2012, she was named the team's most improved player as a stretch 4. She really shot the 3 well, better than 40% both her junior and her senior year from behind the arc. She's gone on a few stops since her playing days here at Harvard, including UMass Lowell. Welcome back to Cambridge for some Ivy League hoops from Harvard's campus. Today, the visiting Yale Bulldogs come into Levites Pavilion at 14-3, winners of 8 in a row, scorching hot, and that's good enough to get them to number 36 on the latest RPI rankings that came out just this week. Why is that number 36 important? Well, let's flash back to 2016 when the Princeton Tigers finished the season ranked number 36 in RPI. They didn't win the conference that year. However, their 36 ranking was good enough to get them an at-large bid into the NCAA tournament. That's the one and only time the Ivy League has ever been a 2-bid conference. That's something that Yale will be trying to repeat if they can't get the automatic bid at Ivy Madness right here in Levites Pavilion later on this season. Guys?
Thank you very much, Dylan. And
welcome back to Ivy League Hoops on ESPN. As Bill mentioned at the top of the broadcast, the visiting Siena Saints are in town today for the Crimson, and they're under new leadership this year with head coach Carmen Massarello in his first season at the helm for the Saints. But getting to Cambridge tonight wasn't exactly a direct route for Massarello. In fact, it started in his near his hometown in the Capital Region, where he played basketball for Shenendehowa High School, winning a Section 2 state championship before flying the coop a little bit and going to UNH for the first 3 years of his college career. Welcome back to Cambridge, where we have a battle of 2 mid-major powerhouses here. Harvard currently in the lead, but speaking of battles, one thing to keep an eye on for the rest of this game is the battle down low between Elijah Burns of Siena and Chris Lewis of Harvard. We touched on it a little bit throughout the broadcast, but these guys are 2 of the best players on the court for their respective teams. And in that first half, they basically neutralized each other to the point where they didn't really exist. It was unbelievable in the stat category, guys, and also just in the way that they were affecting each team. Thanks, Ben. Tess, an excellent game for you today, a double-double, really getting after it on the glass and putting up some points, but overall a very well-balanced attack by the Harvard Crimson today. What was the key to executing your game plan so well?
I think that we've just been focusing on getting it in, keeping it out. Every practice we work on passing to the post, moving off the ball, so I'm finally glad that it showed up in a game because we've been really focusing on that.
You bring up the post, so I have to bring up your junior captain, Rachel Levy. She stepped into a starting role this weekend and has been an incredible spark plug for you guys. Talk about what she brings to the court with 2 double-doubles this weekend, but also her effort and her energy level.
Obviously, she's amazing on the glass and getting putbacks, but overall, she's just a huge talker, which keeps everyone going, keeps everyone connected, and for a team, that's the biggest thing that you can do.
Now, you guys are a young team, only one senior now playing in these games, and you've shown a lot of poise this weekend, getting a huge win over a very good Yale team and keeping that momentum going today. What did you guys learn about your team this weekend, and how do you keep that going as you head on the road for 4 games?
I think that what we've learned all throughout this season is that we keep each other confident. We're really young, so we can't get inside of our own heads because we don't have that experience yet, but by hyping each other up, knowing that we have each other's backs, we can play without, being afraid to take risks.
Thank you so much, Tess. Congrats on a great game.
So much.
Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Dylan.
he is headed over to chat with our Dylan Hornblum. And we will hear from the Boca Raton native right now.
Thanks, Ben. Rachel, an unbelievable game for you. Your 4th start of the year, you pick up your first double-double of the season. Couldn't have come at a better time. Everything was working. What was going on for you out there tonight?
Yale's a good competitor. I knew we had to come out strong, and I just wanted to help the team do that, come out with whatever I could give.
Well, you certainly gave a lot. Effort and intensity, it seems like what it took to beat this really good Yale team. And a freshman, Lola Mullaney, she's learning every game. She's really growing every time. She had 19 points tonight. Talk about her.
Yeah, Lola's been a great addition to the team on and off the court. She's a great leader, and that's not something you see every game, but off the court, she's there for us every time we need her, and on the court, she's a huge asset. Obviously, she's our lead scorer, and she helps us a lot. She boosts the team a lot. She's an awesome teammate to have.
A huge win for you guys tonight against a really good Yale team, coming off playing a really good Princeton team. Now, how do you keep this momentum going into tomorrow?
Yeah, you said it before. A lot of what we focus on is intensity, and that's what we changed coming into this Yale game. We want to be intense every second we're on the court, and we're just going to keep that going through the Ivy League, bringing that intensity, and that should bring us the wins we want.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Rachel. Congrats on a great game.
Thank you very much.
3 for you today, but it took a complete team effort to get that win over Siena. What was the message in those last couple timeouts from Coach Amaker?
Absolutely. We had a theme of toughness today. It was all about, being gritty, tough, and, keeping our composure. We've been in situations like this before. We've won a bunch of overtime games. We know what we have to do, and especially as a veteran team, making sure we're executing down the stretch.
And you had to D up Jalen Pickett there a lot in the second half. He's a super dynamic player, but you guys limited him to his season low in points. How were you able to do that?
I think we did a great job defensively switching, talking, communicating. But also we did a great job in the first half on the other side of the ball, getting him in early foul trouble, really making him sit down for most of the first half. That was really kind of a team-wide execution thing. And Jalen's a great player, and we know that he can put it up. He definitely played really well against us last year, so it was a big emphasis for us to try and limit his touches today.
Absolutely. And speaking of the first half, one guy who went off was a young man, Ledlum, just had a dynamic first half, really shot it from the outside, got things going. What can you say about this first-year class, these guys coming in their first time playing for you guys and really giving you a spark?
And absolutely. Ledlum was incredible. He was an incredible spark, incredible lift for us in the first half especially. I think the theme for this first-year class is a lot of growth. These guys have matured a ton over the past few months. Ledlum just being under control, picking and choosing when he's going to drive, when he's shooting. For those guys, I think that we've seen incredible growth. And if we can keep up that rate of growth for them, it'll be an incredible season for us. And making sure that we use our veteran guys and lean on our seniors to really be in charge of kind of helping those guys along.
Thanks so much, Justin. Congrats on a great game. Good luck moving forward.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Dylan, thank you. From Levites Pavilion on the campus of Harvard University, this is the Ivy League on ESPN. Today, the Princeton Tigers, winners of 10 in a row, take on the Harvard Crimson. Appreciate you joining us here tonight, along with Dylan Hornblum. Connor Clement will join us in a minute. I'm Eric Galanti. 2 really good teams atop the Ivy League here today, and you can't start any conversation about this game without the 2-time reigning Ivy League Player of the Year, and that is the senior Bella Allery.
Allery is an absolutely dominant force in Ivy League basketball. The 2-time Conference Player of the Year, also was the Rookie of the Year before that for the conference, averaging 18 points per game this season, had 19 in each contest against the Crimson last season. Princeton won both of those games. Harvard trying to turn the tables with a big win today.
Allery was the 1-time Ivy League Rookie of the Year. Someone who has a chance at that award is Lola Mullaney for Harvard. She had 20 points in yesterday's win at home over Penn.
That's right. Mullaney, the first-year guard out of Manasquan High School in New Jersey, has gotten off to a hot start in her Crimson career. Started 13 games so far for the Crimson. Got hot in the first half yesterday against Penn, and that helped the Crimson get out to a big lead at halftime, which they did not relinquish.
10-point lead for Princeton after 1 half, and a big-time shot by Bella Allery just before time expired. Kind of limited what was a pretty good run there by Harvard. They'd scored a couple buckets in a row. They had cut the lead down to 7, but Princeton goes out with that big three-pointer. And it was kind of a half where you see Bella Allery, she's the best player on the floor, and that's a big reason why Princeton has the lead they do as we take a look at some of the highlights out of that first half.
That's right. Allery and Littlefield both played 18 minutes in that first half, but it was right when Harvard was starting to get the momentum back on their side, that Allery long-range three. Princeton actually did exactly the same thing yesterday in their game against Dartmouth. Big, long three right at the end of the first half that really set them up with a lot of momentum coming into the second half as we look at the first half highlights. This is what Harvard wants to do. Jeannie Bain, whenever someone's on her who isn't named Bella Allery, attack her in the post. Now, sometimes that didn't lead to a basket, but it did lead to a really good look at a basket, and that's going to continue to give them confidence. In the end, Princeton was really good. Julia Cunningham was phenomenal with 4 baskets in that first half. She's known as more of a pure shooter, but her ability to slash and get to the hoop was on display. We see it again here. She was cutting, she was finding open lanes, and her teammates were finding her. Now that's going to continue to force Harvard to pay more attention to her. You can't double team off Allery like you would like to, but here's what I'm talking about. Bain, even though she was getting double teamed, she had on her, she was getting double teamed. Allery was late coming over, and Bain gets the easy 2-point basket. That's exactly what she wants to do. She